Yeah, we're recording. Okay. Hey everyone, it's Dragon Master here from the House of Eyes, and we have Luigi Master Brony. Also someone from the House of Eyes in the background, and we're here doing a deck profile of my Odd Eyes deck. I want to go ahead and mention that my Odd Eyes deck is not complete yet, but I'm going to be making a deck profile of what I've got so far. So let's go ahead and get started. I run 3 Odd Eyes Pendulum and Dragon, but like I know there's some people out there that don't play Odd Eyes Pendulum and Dragon, which Blue Game Master told me before, so I'm just deciding to run them because why not? I run 2 Odd Eyes Phantom Dragon. Let's see, if I remember correctly, let's see, when this Pendulum Summon card, yeah. Right here says, when this Pendulum Summon card inflicts battle damage to your opponent by attacking, you can inflict damage to your opponent equal to the number of Odd Eyes cards in your Pendulum Zones, times 1200. So, yeah. And that effect can only be done once per turn. And I run 1 Odd Eyes Arc Pendulum Dragon. It's basically a normal monster, but his Pendulum effect is whenever Odd Eyes monster you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon an Odd Eyes monster from your hand, deck, or graveyard. But it's only once per turn. So, yeah. I run 1 Odd Eyes Lancer. So, what his effect is, if a Pendulum monster you control is destroyed by a battle or card effect, you can tribute summon 1 monster, special summon this card from your hand. If this card attacks, your opponent cannot activate any spell and traps until the end of the damage step. If an Odd Eyes cards you control would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can destroy 1 Odd Eyes card in your hand, monster zone, or pendulum zone instead. So, I guess you can say it's technically an Odd Eyes monster that saves your other Odd Eyes monsters, unless it counts itself as well, but whatever, you get the point. I run 1 Dragon Pit Magician, that just for destroying the opponent's back row. I run 2 Odd Eyes Persona Dragon, cause why not? I mean, come on. Let's see. If I remember correct, let's see. His monster effect is a quick effect, by the way. And what it does is, once per turn, that you can target, I think it said. Yeah, you can target 1 face-up monster on the field that was special summoned from the extra deck, and has its effects negated until the end of the turn. So, that's why that's there. I run 2 Oath Dragon Magician. So, his effect is basically just as you grab an Odd Eyes monster from your graveyard back to your hand. His pendulum effect is basically when you have another magician in your other pendulum zone, that you can add a Odd Eyes monster from your extra deck to your hand. So there's that. I run 1 Chronograph Sorcerer. I don't remember why I run this guy. basically another monster that you bring out, Zerk, that which I do not run, so I should probably replace it with something else. So I also, but let's keep going. I also run Master Pendulum the Draco Slayer. But he's basically a normal monster, scale 3, but his pendulum effect is just to target one card in your pendulum zone and destroy it. Yeah. I run 3 Supreme King Dragon Darkworm. But I run I run 1 level 4 in this deck. So and that I also have some other level 7 synchros, so that's what this guy is actually for. So, and if you don't know his effect, his effect is, if this card is normal or special summon, you can add 1 Supreme King Gate Pendulum monster from your deck to your hand. If this card is in your graveyard and you control no monsters, you can special summon this card. So, I guess you can say it's a monster that brings itself back for some defense. I run 2 Odd-Eyes Mirage Dragon. Let's see if I'm sorry, I'm not very familiar. I am a very forgetful person, so I apologize for that. Let's see. While an Odd-Eyes card is in your pendulum zone, quick effect, you can target 1 Odd-Eyes monster you control. The first time it will be destroyed by battle or card effect, it's not. So, I guess you could say it technically protects your Odd-Eyes monsters from being destroyed by battle. I run 2 Noble Dragon Magician. You know, the tuner of the deck. So for synchro summoning, I run 2 Duelist Alliance. But so I guess you can say he's technically a pendulum searcher, because if there is a card in my pendulum zone, I have 1 pendulum monster or pendulum spell or trap from my deck to the hand. And I can only activate 1 per turn, so it's basically a searcher. I play 2 Spiral Flame Strike. What its effects is that if you control an Odd-Eyes monster, you can target 1 card on the field and destroy it, and you can add 1 level 7 Odd-Eyes monster from your deck or extra deck. So there's that. I run that 1. What the heck? But I run 1 Pendulum Call that to get, well, basically, like, I guess you can say to get Oath Dragon and Noble, and just basically just grab whatever I can grab, as long as there are magicians with two magicians with different names. So yeah, I run 1 Amazing Pendulum. If you don't know what this does, what it does is that if you have no cards in your pendulum zones, you can target, actually, give me a sec, If you have no cards in your Pendulum Zones, add up the 2 Magician Pendulum monsters with different names from your extra deck to your hand. So if you grab 2 Magicians from your Pendulum Zones, add them to your hand, and there you go. 2 Sky Iris to search for. This is for searching Odd Eyes cards, Magicians. For searching the Odd Eyes cards, for searching the Magicians. Also, it saves your Magicians, Performer Pals, and Odd Eyes monsters from being destroyed by card effects in the scales. So I run 1 Dark Hole. Everyone knows what this does. I run 2 Terraforming. But this is basically for Sky Iris. I run 1 Monster Reborn. So basically, if I have a monster in the graveyard I want to get back, I can just get it back. I run 1 Odd Eyes Fusion. So, just for fusion summoning. I run 1 Solomon Warning to count that. Say it. Basically, if my opponent normal summons a monster I don't want them to have, I can activate this. So I have 2 proxies of Solomon Strike. So say if my opponent brings out Lightning, for example, I can activate Solomon Strike to stop that to send it to the graveyard when it comes out. So, and whenever, say my opponent activates a monster effect that will badly damage me, I can use Solomon Strike and stop that activation. So, I actually hope on getting the actual Solomon Strikes, like the actual cards themselves. So I run 2 Pendulum Switch. I'm just gonna do this for an example real quick. Let's say Arc is in the Pendulum Zone and Pit is in the main monster zone. So he's in the main monster zone and he's in the Pendulum Zone. And let's say my opponent has 1 back row which I want to get rid of. So I want to get rid of. I can activate Pendulum Switch to make them switch places. Then I can activate Dragon Pit's effect to send a Pendulum monster from my hand to the graveyard and destroy 1 spell and trap card my opponent controls. So that's why I run that. So that's the deck. Now we are going to move on to the extra deck. I run 1 Odd Eyes Raging Dragon, which I think I should probably take out until I get Xianqi Magician. So I'll have to find out what to replace it with first. So I run 1 Odd Eyes Absolute. It's basically Utopia. It's basically just normal Utopia. But when he negates an attack by detaching 1, you can special summon an Odd Eyes monster from your graveyard. And when he's sent to the graveyard, when he was Xyz summoned, that is, that you can special summon 1 Odd Eyes monster from your extra deck. So I think that's actually really neat. And I run 1 Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon. I run 2 Odd Eyes Vortex Dragon. That if you don't, well, almost everybody, well, other people I've dueled that have used pendulums have at least used these. But if you don't know what it does, basically when this is special summoned, you can target 1 card your opponent controls, send it back to the hand. As long as it's in words, as long as it's in attack mode, that is. If it's in attack mode, you can send it back. If it's not in attack mode, that you can't. And if your opponent activates when a spell or trap or another monster effect is activated, you can shuffle one pendulum monster from your extra deck back into the deck, negate the activation, and destroy it. So I think that's really neat as well. I think I'm putting this at 1, but I'm running 2 Starving Venom. But I think he does really good with the deck. That what he basically is when he's special summoned, that you can target 1 card your opponent controls. He gains attack points equal to its attack, and when he's sent to the graveyard, that he destroys all special summon monsters your opponent controls. So I think that's actually, I guess I can say he's a big attacker and a nuker. So I run 2 Clear Wing, which is what Noble Dragon is for. Noble Dragon, Dark Worm are for. Well, one of them. Well, that's one of them at least. So, oh yeah, I forgot to mention his effect. My bad. Basically, when a monster once per turn during either player's turn, when another level 5 or higher monster activates its effect, you can negate the activation. If you do, destroy it. Also, once during either player's turn, when a monster that targets exactly 1 level 5 or higher monster on the field, and no other cards, you can negate the activation. If you do, destroy it. If this card's effect destroys a monster, this card gains attack equal to the destroyed monster's original attack to the end of this turn. But here's another one of the monsters that Dark Worm and Noble Dragon are for, which is Odd Eyes Meteor Burst Dragon. When he is special summoned, he special summons a card from your Pendulum Zone, but your opponent cannot. But he cannot attack. Also, once per turn, monsters in your opponent's position cannot activate their effects during the battle phase. So that's actually really interesting. and I run 1 Decode Talker. Link monster for the deck. I'm planning on putting in another Link monster, but I gotta find out exactly which one will actually work with this deck. So that's all I had for this deck profile. So if you enjoyed, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you have any suggestions on what I should put in, like if you have of what I should put in, what I should take out, what do you want me to take out and what do you want me to put in, tell me what you think in the comment section below. And I'll see you guys in wait, give me a sec. I'll see you guys in the next video.